This is my story. Check it out. It is my destiny to rid the world of this evil, to bring peace to this land, and save all of its people. Fighting is the only life that I've ever known, and the reassurance that I'll never be alone. The crystals shine so bright, filled with all that power. We might be here a while, in fact it could take hours. The fantasy is never final. The fantasy is never final. My world is covered in clouds and filled with strife. It takes a heart of a lion to live this crazy life. Do not think me as such a simple clone. Watch me go into a trance when I get up in my zone. I've never asked to be the one to save this world. Everything I do these days is to save my lovely girl. The fantasy is never final. The fantasy is never final. And so, on that day, the world changed forever. What I've shown you is reality. What you remember, that is the illusion. What's happening to me? I feel so lost these days. It's like I've lost my sight of my fantastical ways. Will I ever stop? Is there an end in sight? Too difficult to let go. Although one day I might, I'll have to leave my name and become a different game. At least we're not all the same. My throne has yet to be claimed. The fantasy is never final. The fantasy is never final. What's the first title that comes to mind when you think of the RPG genre? Dragon Quest? Ha! Elder Scrolls? Psh! Go ahead. Ask your mother. I guarantee you, she's heard of Final Fantasy. How do I know that? 'Cause I told her myself. Fucking G, you crazy.